Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kent. I'm Reverend Stephen, the minister of this congregation. Thank you for joining us as we gather both in person and on Zoom. We are a spiritual community that seeks to be diverse and inclusive as we inspire love, work for justice, and grow together in community. Thank you to our team leading worship this morning, our worship associate Randy, music director Katie, our religious education director Colleen, our accompanist Vanessa, our guest musician Mike, Vivian from our leadership development team, ushers and greeters, our tech team Brad, Jen, Lois, and our administrator Mary Beth, who prepared our slides. We are a people who seek to practice radical hospitality, welcoming and being inclusive. It's one of our highest values as a community sharing the journey. In this spirit, let's take a few moments now to greet each other in breakout rooms and in person. Once again, welcome. Now let us take a moment to simply breathe and to be fully present to this time of worship, to invite the Spirit to be present among us and to open our hearts to life and the gift of this day as we take time together to reflect on our individual gifts, our skills, talents, and passions, and how we can share these things with each other and with the world. Now come, let us worship together.
There just has to be more to life than just partying and working, right? That was my perplexing thought many years ago as my later teenage years. It felt as though there was something tugging at my heart, trying to persuade me that there is something more to life. However, I just didn't know how to access it. I now know it's the notion that today we are calling our inner passion, or the flame that burns within. It wasn't until I learned and understood that I have gifts and talents, that if I choose, I could use them as a minister to change my world. Fast forward many years with a lot of water running under the bridge, I moved to Portland, Oregon. On my adventure out west, I decided to stop at Danville, Illinois, to visit a church that I had pastored 18 years previously for 6 years. I drove into the parking lot, walked up to the side door of the new addition that we had built when I was serving there, with much trepidation, entered the building, took a long, deep breath. What am I going to find? Who will I meet? Hundreds of memories flooded my mind. I looked up, looked down the hallway, and there was a young lady I didn't recognize her, but she greeted me with outstretched arms and she said, "Pastor Randy, I love you." I didn't remember her, but she greeted me with an endearing hug. And she said, "I was in your youth group when you pastored here. I went on to college, got married, and I am now the director of this church's daycare." She said, "Pastor Randy, your teaching changed my life." So I'm glad that I took some time to consider what my inner passion was and what that tugging was at my heart that allowed our paths to cross and to make an impactful influence in her life and mine. Come, consider what is tugging at your heart today as we reflect together on our passions and our gifts. As Unitarian Universalists, we light a flame within a chalice to unite us in worship and to remind us of our ongoing search for the light of truth within us and among us. The chalice is also a light to guide us on our shared journey and a reminder that we are all interconnected in the great web of existence, of which we are a beloved part. As Meredith comes to light our chalice, I invite those on Zoom to light your home chalice as well. Please join me in the reading the words of our congregational covenant found in your order of service. We affirm that each life has brilliance, and when joined with others in joyful community, has the power to transform. We pledge ourselves and our resources to this journey. This covenant inspires and challenges us to dwell together in right relationship. We promise to extend hospitality, nurture community for all ages, encourage spiritual growth, honor diversity, and practice kindness.
Five years ago, we tried a new thing. We asked the children of this church and the youth of this church what they were passionate about, what they believed in, what they wanted to work for, and they told us. And here we are, almost 6 years later, and starting another Justice January. Hooray. Following the inauguration 2 years ago, the children were moved deeply by Amanda Gorman. I played her video for them, and we talked about the poem that she read during the inauguration. And then they were inspired to write their own. And so that's what I want to do today for the Time for All Ages. I want to share with you that poem once again, as we talk about what we believe in, what we want to work for, what our gifts are, what our passions are this morning. Our children told us already, and so I would like to share that with you. In the World We Build, written by Eden Craver-Dean, Iona Packer, Coleman Packer, Riley Sussman, Raylan Rome, Benny Hovansik, Franklin Wakefield, Meredith Wakefield, and Lola Taylor. In the world we build, we will focus on the earth because we need a healthy place to live. We will protect our democracy and hold elections by the popular vote. We will stand strong, determined to make the world a better place. In the world we build, we help the homeless and love our neighbors. We will be light in the darkness, like the moon and the stars. Love will be our legacy. The world we build will be peaceful, curious, interesting. In the world we build, we will know that violence is never the answer, that we can make history with what we do. We will know that we have to respect each other, even if we have different views. We will know that everyone has dreams, and even if you don't reach your exact dream all the way, you can get really, really close. We will know that you can dream big and work hard for what you dream about. And we will know that we can make history, even with small steps. In the world we build, we will be inspired by artists like Amanda Gorman, who tell us that we can be brave enough to, quote, be the light, because, quote, America is not broken, just unfinished. In the world we build, there is hope and love, and people are brave to stand up for what they believe in. We will build the world by helping people, expressing ourselves, and helping others. In the world we build, no one is homeless, hungry, scared, or treated unfairly. In the world we build, there will be peace, justice, and we will build our world with love. And I believe they already have, they already are, and they will continue to do so. I wonder, this year, kiddos, what steps are we going to take in that direction to build the world that you are creating? Let's go to class.
We live in busy times, challenging times. All the more reason to take time to care for our spiritual lives. So each week, together, we create a time of shared stillness, which you're invited to pray or to reflect, to practice gratitude, to meditate, or just simply be, in order to remember who we truly are, to reflect on our lives, and to reconnect with the sacred mystery that is the very heart of life itself. I invite us now to enter stillness for a time and find that place of silence within us where love lives and calls us into the fullness of life. Our lives bring many things, among them struggle, challenges, and loss. We take time to share sorrows, struggles, and losses that are in our hearts right now and hold each other in love and care as we do so. If you're on Zoom and have a sorrow, loss, or struggle to share, please use the chat box. Vivian and Kevin grieve Sue Jeffers, who died suddenly this last week. Our community has lost a musician and a loving spirit. We hold Hale Dodds in our hearts as he recovers from a fall, is in rehab. If there's anyone in your heart, in your thoughts right now you'd like to name out loud, please do so. Holding one another in love and care, let's enter into a spirit of prayer now with these words of the Reverend Angela Herrera. Beneath the hustle and bustle, beneath the stream of thoughts that clambers and clatters over the landscape of our interior world, beneath our habits of momentum and stirring, there is a stillness, deep and peaceful. It's the place where creation begins. Who lives there? We know her by many names: truth, love, God, wisdom. We turn our hearts toward her face, toward the mystery, and we bring our prayers of awe, of longing, of hope, of exhaustion, of grief. She holds us in our grief and anger and our disappointment, our loneliness and our rebirth. From her viewpoint, she sees us, children of the stillness, children of love. She sees our place in the order of things, joined together in the larger story, and she invites us again and again into living, invites us into loving, invites us into being loved. May we be restored to wholeness and blessed with peace. May all those whom we encounter receive this blessing through our being in this world. May it be so. Our lives have brought moments of joy, wonder, and awe, experiences that even for a moment have lifted our spirits. So if you're on Zoom once again, please use the chat box to share your joys with us. And Jeff shares with us that his wife, Nicole, has been accepted into a master's program for social work at Case Western. Yay, Nicole, congratulations. She's right there. Kevin shares some good news with us. Starting a new job at Cuyahoga Valley Environmental Education Center in February. Woo! Congratulations, Kevin. Jen Gregg shares gratitude for the many volunteers that helped to make our first hosting of the farmers market successful. Yeah, thank you all. I don't know if any of you were there on Saturday, but I visited and the energy was wonderful. It was great. So we're off to a good start, but possible because of all of you. Swanee, I am home now and glad. Yay, Swanee. That's wonderful. Now with gratitude for these and every blessing that life gives us, for the gift of life itself, for the companionship of each other on life's journey, for the beauty of our world, and for this day with all its possibilities, let us raise our hearts in gladness and together say, Amen.
This reading is titled, Choose to Bless the World by Reverend Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love. Any of these can draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer this question: what will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It is an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. And while there is injustice and numbness or evil, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love, protesting, urging, insisting that which is sacred will not be defiled. Those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage. The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation. More, the choice will draw you into community, the endeavor to share, the heritage passed on, the championship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us can save the world alone. Together, that is another possibility waiting.
I saw a cartoon recently about a church, and its title was New Person's Worst Nightmare. The minister is speaking to a new couple coming to the church. The couple's looking at this huge bulletin board listing all the congregation's committees. At the top in bold letters, it says, "Our committees need you." And the minister says, "Now, most people are on 9 or 10 committees. But since you're new, I'm sure people will understand if you only join 6 or 7 to start." The best part of the cartoon is the list of committees themselves. There's the Finance Committee, the Investment Committee, the Board of Trustees, of course. But the list goes on. Thermostat Control Committee, Committee for More Comfortable Seats, Plant Watering Committee, Pigeon Control Committee, and the Committee for the Promotion of Committees. I am not here this morning to invite you to join 9 or 10 committees, or if you're new, 6 or 7. Instead, I've got some good news I really want to share with you that I hope you already know. And that good news is that whether you join 1 committee, 10 committees, or all 40-something like I do, there is a place for you here. No matter who you are, no matter what you've done, whether you're broken and flawed, hurting or angry or sad or lost, in your wonder, your beauty, and your humanity, in your hard-won wisdom, in your faith in one God, many gods, or none at all, here you are home. Here you are welcome. And you are free. Free to become your fullest, most authentic, most real selves. Each one of us beloved by life itself. And there's more. If we're doing church right, you have a unique opportunity, the encouragement and the space to discover your passions, the longings and yearnings of your heart, those things you care most deeply about, the things that make life worth living and gives us each purpose. There's an opportunity for you to discover your gifts, the unique combinations of talents and skills you have that make you uniquely you, and that when shared will help meet the needs of others, transform our world in some way, perhaps just changing one life, but that's enough, and bringing you the deep joy that comes from sharing those gifts and serving others. David Viscott says, "The purpose of life is to discover your gifts. The work of life is to develop them. The meaning of life is to give them away." This church exists to help you learn how to use your gifts and to give them away. One of the ways you can do so is through our shared ministry, which is our community's life and work, together how we serve one another in the world. Now imagine coming to church here on a Sunday morning, but there's no one at the front door to greet you and no one to hand you an order of service. During the service, we don't sing the children to their religious education classes because there are no teachers and no religious education committee to help plan our programs. There's no choir or tone chimers or orchestra, so there's less music to add beauty and stir our souls in the ways that words can't. It's hard to think about all the needs that would go unmet right in Kent because we don't have a social justice coordinating committee. We don't collect food or raise money for Kent Social Services, or we aren't working to end racism because there's no racial justice team. I wonder how many of you might have felt more alone or lost or unable to cope with one of life's losses or struggles if others hadn't reached out to hold you or listen as you tried to make sense of what was happening. What we do together matters. And what you are out there doing to make the world a better place matters. Using our gifts and living out our passions blesses the world. Most people use the word bless to mean to send good wishes. But the Chinese spiritual text, the I Ching, says to bless means to help. And in helping, we are helped in return. If we choose to bless the world by sharing our gifts, and that choice is always ours. Reverend Rebecca Parker told us about some of the gifts we receive in return. She says the choice draws you into community. The work is shared. There's a heritage that's passed on. We're joined together in the struggle. There's the importance of keeping faith, our life of ritual and praise, the comfort of one another's friendship, the complete company of earth, and the chorus of life welcoming you. Our Leadership Development Committee and I have been partnering to help you discover how you can bless the world, whether it's by serving this congregation in some way or offering your gifts to the greater Kent community and beyond. After we sing our reflection hymn, we're going to take some time to do some work of discernment, which is a fancy word to think about things, to really reflect. We're going to be invited to discern our gifts and passions, and then a member of the leadership development team will invite you to fill out a talents and interests survey, and we'll tell you more about that later. In order to find your passion and purpose, you need to look inward and see what truly inspires you. What makes you feel alive? The process is quite simple, but it may take you a while to discern it. But the time spent identifying your passions and gifts is part of your spiritual journey and growth. So this morning, once again, we'll take some silence together to turn inward and to reflect on those unique gifts, talents, and skills we each have, the things that make, as I said, you, you. There are some questions that'll be up on the slides to help you think about your gifts and passions. I'll read them. What do you care deeply about? What is a passion that burns within you? What's something that you do or have done for others that brings you joy? What new ministries would you like to bring to the church, or what existing ministries would you like to help strengthen? Let's take some silence together. Now I'd like to invite Vivian to introduce the Interests and Talents Survey. And I want to tell you something important. This survey is not a contract. It is not. Was that a sigh of relief? It is not an obligation of any kind. With this information, rather than randomly calling you and say, hey, how would you like to serve on the Board of Trustees? The Leadership Development Committee and our church leadership can reach out if we have an opportunity that matches your gifts and your passions. Those of you who are new visitors, you don't need to fill out the survey unless you'd like to, and you are welcome to read it and learn about all the opportunities to be involved in the life and work of this church, and there are many. So, Vivian?
Good morning. Well, I first came to this church 28 years ago, believe it or not, when I moved to Ohio from Georgia, and I was looking for a community, and I found that here. I was looking for friends, and I found them here. I found all of you. I didn't realize, though, back then, that I would also find ways to express what mattered most to me. And I found those opportunities here also. I was able to get involved in the work of social justice with this church community. I started out by working with others to make ours a welcoming congregation for LGBTQIA people. I don't know how many of you were here back then when we first became a welcoming congregation. And we did that, and then last year we renewed that commitment with a special focus on educating folks about transgender lives, and we will continue that work. Over the years, I've had many opportunities to serve, and they've all mattered to me and fulfilled me, and I hope they've helped the church as well. I've worked on social justice, I've had the opportunity to be an RE teacher, and I experienced on several occasions what I call the joy of governance, which is serving on the Board of Trustees, and it is joyful. I love being on the board. So we as individuals have a wide array of gifts and talents and passions, and we on the leadership development team want to encourage each one of you to share your passions with the rest of us as a church community. Being part of this community is more than just showing up on Sundays and listening to sermons, wonderful as the sermons are. Being part of this community means putting all of our talents and passions to use for this beloved community and for the wider world. And it will bring each of us deep enrichment. And now I have three lovely assistants. We have Randy and Julie and Kathy in the back. And Randy and Julie will pass out the survey, and we also have pens that we will pass out. And we're going to give you 5 minutes to fill out the survey. If you want to, you don't have to. We would like you to, though. And if you don't quite finish, Kathy has a lovely red box in the back. She's holding it up where you can put your survey. But what's going to happen is after 5 minutes, we're going to do the offering, and you can put your survey in the offering basket, okay? And if you don't quite get around to it, you can put it in the red box at the end. But we'd like everybody to do that now. And if you're in Zoom, there will be a link to the survey in the chat box for you. So the surveys are coming.
Thank you, Vivian. Okay, if you have any questions about any of this, you can ask Vivian. Yep, Kathy, you can ask you as well, right? You can ask me, of course. So a covenant group is a group, typically 8, 10, or 12 people that meet once a month to talk about a theme. We use Soul Matters, which provides a theme for each month. January, it's Finding Our Intentions. And the group it's Finding Our Center. Out of our center comes our intentions. People gather each month, and they go deep. They talk about the topic. They talk about how it has affected their lives or changed them, or their learning, or how they've struggled in some way. It's a group that builds community within that small group and builds intimacy and relationships with each other. How'd I do, Randy? Randy is in charge of our covenant group, so please.
Small group, covenant group, same kind of, sorry. Yeah, use the microphone. For people on Zoom, sorry about that. Covenant groups, small groups, basically the same kind of thing. Small groups do use the covenant group model, beginning with a chalice lighting, check-in, how you doing kind of a thing. Then there's a discussion and then a follow-up take-home thought. So they help people grow together in community, to learn, to grow in community, to grow in love. And it is amazing. The beginning of a covenant group or small group, you might be thinking, and I'm going long, sorry, I'm going to make it brief. At the beginning of the group, you might be thinking, I don't really want to be here. And then an hour later, you're thinking, can't we go any longer? This has been beautiful. It's been wonderful. So get involved, covenant group or small group. If you want to know more, let me know. Thank you.
Okay. One of the ways we can bless the world is through sharing our gifts, including our financial resources. We do the work of helping others in our community thrive, blessing various organizations in Kent and beyond that serve those in need. This month, our children have chosen for Justice January the Kent chapter of PFLAG. PFLAG is a national organization that provides support, education, and advocacy for members of the LGBTQIA+ community, their families, and allies. Each chapter is self-supporting and depends on the generosity of its friends and allies. In the spirit of gratitude for the gift of one another in this community, the opportunity to bless the world, and to be able to share our abundance, we now give and receive the offering as a sign of our shared commitment to the life and work of this congregation and beyond. Would the ushers please come forward?
Open up Facebook, turn on NPR. The news is depressing as hell. Hatred and thoughtlessness, fear, greed, and cruelty. My God, we create them so well. These are the moments I feel like retreating, defeated, right into my bed. These are the moments when it just might matter if I ask some questions instead. Could I be the one to give food to the hungry? Could I be the one to rebuild someone's home? Could I be the one to show up and sit down at the bed of a person who's sick and alone? Could I be the one? Could I be the one? Could I be the one to make the difference? I want to live in a world where the news is cause for delight, not alarm. know you can always choose care over harm. Sure, there are moments I think it can't happen, but we're just too lost in our pain. Then I remember surrender is fatal and turn to those questions instead. Could I be the one to go visit a prisoner? Could I be the one to go tutor a child? Could I be the one to speak up in the silence as some are mistreated while others just smile? Could I be the one? Could I be the one? Could I be the one to make the difference? And of course the answer is yes, I'm the one, but only if I'm one of many, many to bind up the broken, many to fight the good fight, many to struggle for justice, to take what is wrong and to work till it's right, many to love with abundance, many to care with compassion, our hands and our hearts and our minds and our souls all together to make the world new. We'll be the ones to give food to the hungry, and we'll be the ones to build houses for all. We'll be the ones to bring help to the suffering. Yes, we'll be the ones who will answer the call. We are the ones, we are the ones, we are the ones who make the difference, who make the difference, who make the difference.
It's time to be the ones and to go make a difference in the world. Bring our worship to its close. So would you join me now in the words for extinguishing our lights? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. May we carry these in our hearts and minds until we are together again. Now the Spirit says, rise if you are able, and join in singing our closing hymn number 298, Wake Now My Senses. Once again, these are the words of Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger. Any of these can also draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. And now, aware of our gifts and passions and open to life's invitation to bless the world, let us go forth to be a blessing as we continue to inspire love, work for justice, and grow together in community. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. And I see the light in you.